Okay, so now let's try these two questions that you had to work out. So use the point slope formula, get an equation of a line that passes through the point 1, 2. So this is going to be my point in the point slope equation of x1, y1. And we're going to have a slope of a half. That is the m in my point slope equation. Remembering that the formula is y minus y1 equals m onto x minus x1. So plugging into that, you will get y minus 2 equals 1/2 onto x minus 1. So right there, that's all the steps you have to take to get it into the point slope equation. So there's your point slope method. There's your point slope formula. However, this question also wants it in slope-intercept form because it is so much more useful and able to be drawn. So if you remember your series of steps, first thing you do is you take the 1/2, plug it into both spots, distribute that, so you'll get y subtract 2 is 1/2 x minus 1/2. Your next step is to take this -2 to the other side and make it a positive 2. So the next step you would have y equals 1/2 x minus 1/2 plus 2. Okay. The way you add fractions, you have to take those two and get them into a common denominator. This is currently 2/1. So your next step is to write y equals 1/2 x minus 1/2 plus 4/2. You multiply top and bottom by 2. And our last step then, now that they're the same denominator, we can combine those. 1/2 x plus 3/2. Minus 1 and plus 4, you can add those up and you get plus 3. And this is your equation of your line in y-intercept for slope-intercept form. If you were going to draw that, you would go on a graph. You could go to 1.5 on the axis, and then you could go down 1 and over 2, or you could go down 1/2 and over 1, and you'd have your second dot, of which you could then connect those dots up and get an equation of a line. Okay, it's a useful form if you had actual graph paper to do it. You did not have to do this step. That was just me visualizing it for you. You needed these two things in the box right here and right there. Okay, so for example B, we now have a couple of negatives to contend with, or at least one. Here's your point, x1, y1. It goes through the point, -2, 4, and it has a slope of -2/5. This is going to be your m. So this is going to require a bit more work. It is going to have some gross fractions again. So plugging into the equation, y minus y1 equals m on x subtract x1. We will now plug in y minus, the y1 is 4. So y minus 4 equals -2/5 x subtract -2. So I'll do lots of steps here. So y minus 4 is -2/5 x plus 2. I will take, just like the last question, this -2/5 and distribute it in on both things in that bracket. My left-hand side will still have the -4. So -2/5 times x just makes -2/5 x. -2 times 2/1, that makes -4/5. Then we take this 4 to the other side, and it becomes adding. So then I will get y equals -2/5 x. You have a -4/5, and then you put plus 4. That 4 is a 4/1. I need to match the denominator. So I multiply 5 on top and bottom. So I'll get negative 2/5 x minus 4/5 plus 20/5, and then I can combine those two together and get negative 2/5 x plus 16/5. So my two equations, point slope form was this one, and slope intercept form was that one. Okay, so hopefully those two examples, they're complicated things of fractions. You got to remember your rules for multiplying fractions, your rules for adding and subtracting them. This is some tricky stuff. Good luck.